So we're here in New York with Domino Saints.
What's up? How you doing?
How are you?
Very good.
Super, super happy to be here.
So you're promoting your new EP, Island Kings Volume 1.
Yes, we're very proud to be talking about Island Kings. It's a full album, so Volume 2, which is the second half, comes out in April. For now, we released Volume 1, and we released 4 music videos with that. A La Buena, Dirty Love, Wine, and Body. They're all out. You can check out the videos, and we're really proud of everything we've been talking about in this record. It's like a whole perspective on love. It's like the whole, how do you say that word? The spectrum, right? Everything from the good, the bad, the sexy, the dirty, all of that. And there's something to be said about the name, where we grew up in the island with the island vibe. It's beautiful. It's like your castle as a king is nature. It's not really like about being rich. It's not about having all these things. It's about the fact that when you have, you know, the island vibe, the beauty around you, and maybe you're in love, you know, you can live like a king even if you don't have a lot of stuff. That's the whole point.
On this Volume 1, there are so many good collabs.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of great new talent on there from Colombia, right?
Yeah.
How did you pick those artists to work with?
You know, so me and Dave were always been about, you know, helping new talent or showcasing them, you know, because we would have wanted that when we were coming up, you know, to help those kids. There's so much talent out there, and sometimes they just don't even know how to, you know, get exposure. So I think we're all about that. So we lived in Medellin for a while, and just being around the studios and getting to know these kids that are super talented. And, you know, and we're like, you know, let's just do a song together, you know, and it's about the vibes and music. So it just came together and it happened, and we're super happy to have these tracks with these kids, Jacob Duque, Donkey Rap, Land of Freak, which we become very, very good friends from that moment, you know, from when we met to making the song, to hanging out together, to making the video. You know, you kind of start creating this little family, and it is pretty cool. And it's one of the cool things about music is that you create these friendships and through music.
I thought it was really cool to select people that also represented something for their community. Someone like Landa Freak, he's like a legend in his community because he's kind of from a neighborhood called Belen, and that's a very humble neighborhood, but he also played soccer for the local soccer team and Independiente Medellin. He's like well known for being a good person, for being a positive influence to the youth. And that's something that I really value because I like giving people like that an opportunity to showcase their music. At the end of the day, music is music. Music isn't social media following and all that stuff. Music is music, and for us, we have to select people to work with that have good music, that have a good purpose with what they're doing, and that's why we picked those artists to do those songs with, which came out amazing. And it was like Gigi said, it was a vibe, you know? If someone has the right vibe and you feel like they have the right heart and you feel like they want to accomplish the same purpose with music, which is make a good influence on their generation or make a difference in their community, those are the things that matter to us, and those are the people that we want to select to collaborate with.
And your most recent single off the EP is Body,
Yeah.
right? Can you talk a little bit about the story behind that song?
So Body, one of our favorite
It's such
songs.
a vibe.
Yeah, it is super vibey, you know. It's one of our favorite tracks in the album, and because I think Body was the one who kind of like gave us the way of what we wanted to do with this album. That was one of the first tracks that we wrote for this album, and we wrote it in Medellin with these kids from San Andres, which is a little island off the coast of Nicaragua. And we love it because it's like very sensual, but in a way it's very intimate, you know, and very personal. And it's a little left field when it comes to Latin market, you know. It's like we were trying to like experimenting with new sounds, you know, maybe a little more Afro beat in it too, you know, but very vibey, which you don't really hear that to this moment in the Latin market. And that's why we're creating this new trend, not only with the music but also the visual aspect of the video, to go more artistic, you know, to like experiment with new things. Started like experimenting with projections and body painting and a whole bunch of cool stuff.
The body
and powder.
Yeah.
Like everybody kept asking me like, how long did you wash your hair for? You know, it's like
It took a while, right?
yeah, it took a while.
It took a while.
I'm not gonna lie, it took a while, but everything for art. You know, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You sacrifice yourself and your hair for art. And so you know, it was a really fun video to shoot. You know, to like all these things that we did all these like collage of different artistic things we wanted to try out, and we were just trying it out for the first time in the video, and it came out great. We're super happy about it. Hope you guys watch it. It's available on YouTube. Check out our channel.
Yeah.
And yeah, right.
Yeah, Body's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, me too.
It's a vibe. I think when we wrote it, we were trying to mix a lot of different things together, but we were trying to make how do I make reggaeton more sexy? How do we take the vulgar side and replace it with an actual sensual side, you know? That's what we wanted in that song, and it came out really cool, and I'm glad a lot of people have really dug it. I'm glad a lot of people have seen the difference that we're trying to make within everything, because at that same time, there's a lot of very cool things happening in music, and it's very important to not, it's very important to open your mind. For example, a lot of the producers we work with, typically they're used to doing more urban reggaeton stuff, and we're always challenging them to fuse their sound with other things, to bring elements that normally aren't used into this genre. And there's a reason for that, because we want to bring people together with our music. And so I think that when you integrate something from someone's culture into your music, that's not appropriation. If anything, I think it's homage, you know? And that's something that we like to do very respectfully. We like to bring people together with our music. And I think that with this song, Body, we've touched a lot of elements of other Caribbean countries, not just Puerto Rico. We've touched a lot of elements of Afrobeat and stuff. And for us, it's very meaningful what's happening with Afrobeat. For example, one of the producers who produced A La Buena, he's DJ Blas. He's a legendary reggaeton producer. But he's always been in the same wavelength as us, reaching out to the Jamaicans, trying to do collaborations between both genres. And at the end of the day, reggaeton exists because of reggae and dancehall music. And Blas took all those original dancehall samples, he remastered them, made them into the reggaeton sample libraries that all the producers use today. But then, interestingly enough, the Nigerian kids, both in London and Nigeria, started taking his samples to make Afrobeat what it is today. And so in a sense, when I found out that the Nigerian kids who do Afrobeat were using reggaeton sounds, that for us was like full circle, because our music is so influenced by African music in a beautiful way. We know that the world's coming together. It's now like a global movement. Dancehall, Afrobeat, reggaeton, global bass. It's all one thing, and it's very, very beautiful to be part of that.
The album is like, it seems like it's like a whole complete art project.
Yes.
The music, the way the videos are done, the cover art. What first sparked that like concept, or did it just happen naturally?
No,
we knew we had to
it was all
the
intentional.
whole thing had to be
Everything we wanted to create, like, because me and David with this project, we've been around for like 7 years now, and it's taken us a while to really I don't know, it's just like, I think to any artist it takes a while to really develop. Like, you have an idea in your head, but it takes a while to actually come from that idea to the actual product exactly as you want it. So it's taken us 7 years, and I think to this moment I felt like we wanted to like really just go full on with everything that we ever dreamed of. Now we have the creative liberty. We have our own label.
Yes.
We're not tied down to anybody.
That's awesome.
So in that sense, we can do everything we ever wanted, because when you're with labels, sometimes it's a little complicated and there's too many opinions about everything. But now having our own label, being able to write whatever you want, do the videos that you've always wanted. So we just say, you know what, let's just do everything and let's do it right this time. You know, so we kind of like tied everything together, from like the visual aspects to the music, videos, photos, everything. And we wanted to create like something that would really just break barriers in the music industry, not only in the Latin side, but also get the attention of like people in Europe and the Anglo market, and not be like, oh, this isn't one other of those Latin little acts, you know, but you know, something like, you know, something visually inspiring for everybody. And that was a plan with Island Kings, even to the point of why dividing it into 2 volumes. It's like, that old school idea of side A and side B from the records, you know, that side A is like the most commercial stuff, you know, like what's going on right now, but then you do side B and it's more like even more experimenting, more left, more a little more personal and dark, and wait till you guys hear it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm really happy because what Gigi mentioned, having complete artistic freedom is something that's very, very hard to come by in the music industry. You would feel that that's not the case, and maybe if you're not a musician, it's hard to understand what happens. But the truth is, you know, you write hundreds of songs when you're on a major record label like we were with Universal, but then, you know, they only let you put out 2 songs. So you wrote 100 songs and 2 come out, and the ones that come out are the ones that they think are going to be the most commercial success, because at the end of the day, it's a business for them. So it's not really what you felt like you had to express or what meant the most to you. It's more about what's going to make them money. That's unfortunate, because I feel when you're an artist like us, we're not trying to be like anybody else. We have our own creative direction, you know, like that's the thing we realized when we noticed we were going to be always different, because we were always going to create our own space. I think there's artists that, you know, they're very good at interpretation of music, but maybe they don't compose as much. So maybe they're not as attached to the songs, but we're so attached. Every song we write, it's like a baby. It's like a kid. Like, I love the song so much that I just want it to come out. I want it to be born, you know? And then I want to see it go to where it has to go, but I want it to be real. I don't want anything fake. You know, we want people to know that what we did from the bottom of our hearts, and that we meant it. And we also want the music to come out when it has to come out, when it's relevant to what's going on in our time, you know? And having our own label has allowed us to do this, has allowed us to write the songs we want to write, to choose the songs we want to choose who we want to produce with. And it's been an amazing combination to be able to work with Gigi and make this happen.
So it sounds like you've put a lot of love and a lot of passion into this album. What do you hope that listeners take away or remember from it after they listen?
Hey man, if a lot of babies are born from this album, I'm gonna feel so happy.
It is a lot of it is baby making. It's great. It's great for baby making. If you don't believe me, try it.
You know, at least a lot of hookups. You know, let's start by there. You know, I love hearing those stories like, oh, you know what, I kind of like started dating someone at your show, you know, with your music kind of helped it out. So I'm like, okay, yes.
The best story I ever had with that was there's this, I'm not going to mention him, obviously, but it's a producer. He's a friend of ours, but we also have like a creative rivalry, right? And I don't know, he was always really critical of everything we did, like really critical. We put out a song, you know, most guys, if you don't have anything good to say, you know, just, yeah, okay, cool. If you like it, you know, write somebody, hey, I love your song or whatever. But this guy would write me like to tell me what he didn't like about our songs, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. Anyway, we put out this song, and he writes me, hey, I want to talk to you about that song. And I'm just like, oh God, here we go, right? And then it ends up being something completely different. He ends up saying, hey, listen, I met this girl, and I don't know, I didn't get a lot of chance to talk to her, but I invited her the next day to come to my studio, and she came to the studio, and then she told me like, oh, we didn't get to dance last night. And so I was like, well, why don't we dance now? Just you and me. And she was like, yeah. And then I felt like I had to play a Domino Saints song in that moment, and I played your new song, and we got down, and then I ended up hooking up with her, and this was like amazing. And I'm thinking to myself like, wow, this is the best story anyone's ever told me about what happened with my song, you know, with our song. And it felt so good. I was like, you know what, if I can inspire just a mass generation, a baby boom of smarter people, obviously, that'd be amazing.
When you listen to the album, what do you feel? I don't know if like you're able to take yourself out of it as like an objective listener, or you're so close to it, but like what, like if you were just like driving in the car and had it playing, like what?
It's so weird because I actually listened to the album, which is so weird. It's like, oh my God, I'm listening to my own music. But I think about it that way. I'm like, I'm not even thinking that's me or it's David. It's just like, I truly like this music, you know, like I'm driving in the car and I'm vibing to it, and you know, and there's so many different you know, sentiments in the album. So it's like when I want to go ham in the gym, I'll be like with a couple of songs, or you know, when I'm driving a car, if I want to get down, you know. So it's like I feel proud of it because I feel like when I take myself out of the equation, I still want to listen to this music. So in that sense, I'm like, yo, I'm proud of that, you know, because it took us a while to get here, to like tune out all the negativity and everything that everybody wants to tell you, that you should do this and you should do that, and just do what you really feel that you should do. What music should be in art, just expressing this moment in your time, and that could change 10 years from now, but who cares, you know? It's like we're living this moment, and this is what we want to express, and I'm proud of that.
How long did it take for you to finish it, like from the beginning to
2 years?
I think it was two years, 2.5 years. Yeah.
So you're ready to.
Yeah, I'm glad it's coming out,
Yeah.
and we're obviously already writing new stuff, and that's just how it is. We never stop writing, we never stop creating. That's just part of. If you really do this because you do this, you can't help it. It's like, you know, it's like breathing or flying for a bird or something. Like, you know, I see a guitar, I want to play it. You give me a drum set, I want to play it. I wake up in the middle of the night with weird ideas, and I have to like mumble them into my phone so I don't remember, so I don't forget them. You know, that's just what we do. But honestly, going back to your question about what we feel, I really feel accomplished that we were able to do this, and I really feel freedom. And that's from maybe a personal aspect, because I know everything we went through, being signed artists and feeling tied down and not feeling being able to do what we wanted to do. I feel completely free expressing expressing the emotions I want to share with everybody else. And I think one of the things I always go back to is my youth, especially in Puerto Rico, the vibe of living on the island, of, you know, enjoying the precious things that we take for granted sometimes. Just enjoying being in love, man. Just, you know, being on that honeymoon state when you're dancing with your girl. Maybe she is your wife, maybe she isn't, but just have a little honeymoon in that song, you know? Enjoy it to that level, and that makes life so much sweeter. And I think we just try to capture those feelings and make songs out of them, and that's what this album's about.
So, I know that you were, you participated in the pre-Superbowl concert series. How was that experience for you, especially because you're based in Miami? How was that to be part of?
Yeah, to be part of the Super Bowl 2020, I have to say it's one of those check marks you can put in your...
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of them, but at least that's one of them that we can check mark. Not only was it like 2020, it just feels like this year has something special already. It was 100 years of the NFL. And, you know, it's such a historic moment with everything that happened with J-Lo and Shakira, you know, being the first Latin artist in the Super Bowl halftime, and just being there when you saw the lineup of, like, the different days of the Super Bowl, and our name is there, like, and there's a Shakira and J-Lo, and, you know, it's such an honor to be able to represent not only Puerto Rico, a little island, but the Latin culture in general. And I always say I love representing, like, me as a woman, a Latina woman also. I feel so proud to be there in that stage and just singing for thousands of people and just enjoying that moment. I remember just being on the stage, just like enjoying the hell out of it, you know, and not thinking about anything else, and just thinking about where I am and everything that we've been through. And now we're here, Super Bowl 2020. And it was pretty amazing.
I think, you know, they always say the present sets the past. And in that present, when I was on stage in Super Bowl Live, that was when we decided to release that EP the night before. So it was a really huge combination of feelings. The EP was dropping.
That's a lot. Yeah.
We were playing the Super Bowl. All these things are coming together. And, you know, I felt it was really God telling me, like, hey, when you're yourself, that's when you get the most blessed. When you're honest to yourself, or when you're genuine to everybody. And that's how I felt. It was a very accomplishing feeling. You know, being on the same lineup with Fits in the Tantrums, the Domino Saints, Fits in the Tantrums, Kanye West, Shakira, Bad Bunny, J Balvin, J-Lo. I was like, whoa. And then people are calling us like, how are you on that list? You don't even have a label, bro. I was like, wait. I got my own label, baby. Boom.
What's up, everybody? We're Domino Saints.
And a big shout out to Musical Notes Global. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support to Real Music.